As I'm sure you probably know, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare hits all good stores tomorrow, but I was lucky enough to receive the game a day early from a retail outlet, so I spent the afternoon glued to my PS4 while blasting through the single-player campaign of Infinity Ward's first Call of Duty game since 2013's widely reviled Ghosts. The footage you're seeing is from incredibly early on in the game, so as to keep spoilers to an absolute minimum, so don't worry yourself about that too much. So, is the game any good? Well, a little context first. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this game's pre-marketing push, where its trailer ended up being, I think, one of the most disliked videos on YouTube, and many fans deemed the radical sci-fi setting to just be a step too far from the franchise's roots. Before I give you my spoiler-free rundown of the campaign, just let me say I was not in the camp of haters whatsoever. I actually really dug the campaign's trailers and all that E3 gameplay as well. It just seems so inventive and far away from anything else we've seen in this series before, and I went into this game eager to embrace change and hopeful that Infinity Ward would serve up a decent apology for their mediocre previous game. All that said, I have to say that Infinite Warfare's campaign is, at least for me, a crushing disappointment, to be completely honest. It actually starts off really well with this emphasis on space warfare, over-the-top, varied set pieces, and the protagonist's kind of hilarious robot power Ethan. But it soon becomes clear that Infinity Ward were basically content to just rehash a very simple formula over a campaign that can last anywhere from 5 to 8 hours depending on how many side missions you do. Basically, the campaign's trajectory goes as such. You'll be on the deck of your ship, which serves as your base for the game. You'll get handed a mission, you'll fly to the mission, you'll shoot a ton of bad guys, then normally there's some sort of trinket you have to activate, or maybe a switch to push. You might have to do that again, then you'll get extracted, fly around your ship perhaps, shoot some other ships for a few minutes, return to base, get debriefed, which happens a lot and is really time consuming, and then you basically rinse and repeat this for however long you spend playing the game. It gets repetitive really quickly, and though there are side missions to break it up a bit to try and get you out of the monotony of everything else, they basically end up playing into it as well because they're really samey, and the little I played of them didn't really compel me to keep playing them. Keep it mostly on track with the main story missions. You can beat this game in the normal 5.5 hours on regular difficulty. You know, it's totally par the course at this point. Now, all this said, I did not make this video to just shit all over the game, even though I do feel it is a surprising disappointment. But it's just shocking to me how dull and monotonous the game quickly becomes, because there's not much variety to the mission structure. Most of the characters are extremely empty, even for the standards of this series, and we all know how low they can be. And maybe the worst of them all is Kit Harington's villain. He has such little presence in this game. I can't even remember the character's name, and he probably recorded all of his dialogue and his mocap in a weekend at most, seriously. I'm not exaggerating. And considering how heavily his part in the game has been marketed, it seems really, maybe unethical. It's definitely bizarre how minimal his presence is, and I think a lot of people will be quite disappointed by this. But again, I don't just want to relentlessly rag on the game. It's not awful, it's just very, very underwhelming. So, what's good here then? Well, the presentation is for the most part fantastic. The graphics are a really strong package throughout, making excellent use of natural lighting during the various exotic missions you venture out on. And the character models look very sharp for the most part. Even though COD's never going to look anywhere near as good as Battlefield, it's still a very pretty game to look at, and the COD campaigns haven't always been that great to look at. It certainly makes the game's more idiotic moments more tolerable, that the campaign's easy on the eyes, so there is that. And also, though some of the dialogue is really corny and cheesy, the voice acting is pretty good for the most part, and the same with the usual gunfire effects are excellent, and the score's pretty good. I also liked how much the game makes use of the PS4's controller speaker for various pieces of dialogue and incidental noises like beeping for various reasons. It adds a lot of immersion to the experience and really is something more games should take advantage of. The game does occasionally manage to live up to the exuberance you want it to deliver, but to be honest, I ended up feeling exhausted by how repetitive and just kind of boring the campaign was. It doesn't help that the whole Rise of the Machines plot has been done so many times, and facing off against fleets of robots just isn't very exciting or interesting. Even if there are, you know, some human enemies peppered throughout, it's really not enough. And compare this to Titanfall 2, which I played through about this time last week, and it incorporates a lot of similar ideas, but it manages to be much more streamlined and inventive as an experience. I honestly rarely replay the COD campaigns anyway, but I have no reason at all to go near this one again. And if you were expecting the completion of the campaign to unlock a zombie version of the campaign just like last year's game, that isn't the case here, at least as far as I could see. But, you know, given the added bonus it was last year, it doesn't really seem fair to expect it every time, especially when this game was already deep into development when the last one came out. I'll close by saying this, right? If you love the Call of Duty campaigns unconditionally, do not let me be the one to change your mind here. You will probably love this, and I'm glad that people will get a kick out of it. It's not bad as such, like I said. It's just very generic and forgettable, to me at least. Which seems really criminal given how upset and angry people got about its insane departure from the series formula. You know, if you boil it down to its most basic components, it's still basically everything in COD that you would expect, just a bit sillier. If you're a little more hot and cold on the series' past campaigns like I am, it's probably one you'll want to race through over a night with a 6-pack of beer and a ton of snacks, because it will definitely enhance the experience. That's probably my real regret here, to be honest, that I didn't make more of an event out of it for myself. But, you know, crushing a 6-pack at 12 in the afternoon isn't really my style. Anyway, aside from its presentation and some occasionally diverting set pieces, Infinite Warfare's campaign is an immense disappointment for me. It makes me start to wonder whether all that hate was kind of justified. You know, I didn't want to believe it and I defended the game vocally online, but, you know, now it just falls to me to try out zombies and multiplayer. Try and give myself a full, you know, well-rounded opinion of the game. I'm still optimistic for that. We'll see. I mean, I will be posting a multiplayer review sometime over the weekend. I'm going to start playing it as soon as this video is up, so do keep your eye out for that. No doubt by the time this video is out, people will be playing the game for themselves, so let me know what you think. Am I completely wrong, or do you agree? How do you think it measures up against, say, Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2? Let me know in the comments, and if you like this video, please do like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter as linked in the description below. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time, I'll be here from dusk till dawn.